For the founders in the space with style and grace, I'm Brittany Antoinette, host of the Not So CEO talk show and founder of The Idea Girl. From work and wellness to bootstrapping and burnout, we cover all bases on building a brand, whether you're a seasoned vet or you're just getting started. Through guest interviews, water cooler combos, and office hours, we're paving way for a new era of Not So CEOs. So grab your notepad and tune in for unfiltered banter on branding, business, and bullshit. In today's episode, it's time for office hours, and we're delving into the one phrase that can make any creative or founder cringe. Can I pick your brain over coffee? Maybe early on in your career, you said yes to every single coffee date, only to over time see how draining it is to constantly have your brain picked. There's a difference between free game and free drain, and we're diving into the art of brain picking from the perspective of both the brain picker and the brain pickee. We'll explore the impact of brain picking, how to establish boundaries, and how to politely ask to pick someone's brain.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Not So CEO talk show. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I feel is a bit controversial for both business owners and people on the other side of the spectrum. Dealing with the question, can I pick your brain over coffee? I want to explore the different sides of the same coin. I want to get into the perspective of both the business owner and the person who is seeking information or quote unquote wanting to pick your brain. So you've been following your favorite business boss on the gram for a while now, and you exchange a few words every so often. You run into a career block and you think to yourself, let me just ask so and so. They should have an answer for me. So you slide into their DMs, you say, hey, can I pick your brain for a bit? And then days, weeks, and eventually a whole entire month goes by before you realize your question was curved. Sigh. Whether or not you had authentic intentions, asking, can I pick your brain, can make any professional or creative feel uneasy. Let's face it, because getting advice can help you save time, money, and effort, and help you gain clarity, insight, mentorship, and resources to help you get ahead that sometimes can come at a cost. So, from my own experience, I used to always have people reach out to me asking, can they sit down with me for coffee and pick my brain? And I never took offense to it. But whether it was free game on how they could build their brands or how they could learn how to build brands, I rarely turn down a coffee date. For one, I'm a social butterfly. Two, I love making connections. So, in the beginning of my career, my calendar was packed with pick my brain requests. Then, as time went on, my schedule picked up with projects and more intentional link ups. And I suddenly didn't have the time to meet up for free anymore. Whenever I get invited somewhere or people would try to befriend me, I would get paranoid and anticipate the words that I was dreading. Can I pick your brain? And relationships at times felt opportunistic, and I was the lamb waiting to get preyed on. But people can be slick with it, and before you know it, you don't even realize you're having your brain picked. So here's what really changed the game for me in regards to pick my brain chats. Story time. So a few years ago, I had a co-working session with a former associate who was visiting the city. And this was back in the girl boss, girl power era, just for context. Now, we weren't close, but I was interested in beginning a potential friendship with her. So since she was in town, I invited her to meet me at the co-working space that I was a member at. So after kikiing for a bit, I went on to work independently and she peeked over and happened to ask me about the system that I was using. And I believe at the time it was Dubsado. So she asked me to take her through it and I thought nothing of it at first. So I did. Like I showed her how I use it. For context, Dubsado is a CRM system. It's a client relationships management system. So it's great in the instance you need to manage your clientele. And I spent the rest of our time together teaching her the ins and outs of the platform, which was at the time one of my tools that I used to help my business grow. Probably within the next day or so, she tagged me in a post talking about the power of Dipsado and dropped her referral link for everyone to sign up. What got me was when I spoke to a mutual peer who told me, like, so and so was telling everybody about Dipsado. I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. Now, I'm not a gatekeeping girly at all whatsoever, but damn, how are you going to tell everyone about my resources that I didn't even choose to disclose or share yet? So, from that day forward, I charged to pick my brain at $150 an hour. And I wasn't salty, but that one experience taught me how to value the information that I shared and that I didn't have to let everybody into my boardroom for the sake of being nice or trying to build relationships. So let's go over the impact of brain picking, specifically time and energy and the emotional toll that it takes on you. So we all know the saying that time is money. Well, coffee date requests can impact any professional or creative's time and energy. Because let's be real, these requests are so much more than just a casual chat. You can intend to only speak to someone for 20 minutes, but if you're like me, that 20 minutes will easily turn into an hour or two. And they can take up a lot of time and mental energy, and it could be draining, especially when you're already juggling multiple responsibilities. It can just start off with just a few questions, and then somehow there's a bunch of twists and turns. And before you know it, you gave away a whole consultation session for free. It's not also about just the time spent talking, but also the preparation and the follow up. Plus, it can be emotionally draining, especially when you genuinely want to say yes, but you can't. Which now brings us to an important point, setting boundaries. It is crucial for maintaining your well being and productivity. So, here are some ways you can say no without feeling guilty because you don't always have to say yes to every time someone wants to pick your brain. You can say, I'd love to help, but my schedule is packed right now. Maybe we can connect at a later time, or have you tried checking out these resources first? It's a polite yet firm way to say no. But on the other hand, it's not always about saying no. You can offer resources that they can use. You can recommend books, online courses, maybe some networking events that they can attend. That way, you can remain valuable and respectful of everyone's time. So, two things that I like to do. I like to ask people to send me the questions that they need assistance with in advance for me to even determine if I have the capacity to help them. I remember one time someone asked me a question on how to navigate the art direction field, and I had to explain to them that I'm actually a creative director and I'm not an art director. And maybe just point them in the right direction by connecting them with another person in their field. But if you give me a few questions and they are relative to my field and they are questions that I can answer, I can just simply just reply back via email. Again, it's a win-win situation. Something else that I also like to do is I like to offer like a quick 20-30 minute coffee date virtually. That way I don't have to leave my home. And then I also get to save time and I can fit it in between one of my bigger meetings. And I again ask questions in advance just to ensure that the call stays on track with time. And so that way I'm answering the questions directly. Therefore, I'm using their time wisely and I'm ensuring that they get all the information that they need and making sure that all their questions are answered. You can also create a pick my brain consultation call where people can literally pick your brain for a fee. And in case someone hits you up with a request, you can just redirect them to book a call with you. Instead of just having a regular consultation call, have that pick my brain chat, charge a smaller fee, and just limit it to a few questions. Now, I want to help my people out who are the brain pickers on how to politely ask to pick someone's brain. Now, I get it. You need help. So let me help you. Okay. To ensure that you get your questions answered and the guidance you need for your professional endeavors, here are some do's and don'ts on how to politely ask to pick someone's brain. Number one, don't ask someone to pick their brain. Do ask for their advice instead. Asking to pick someone's brain is probably the easiest way to get your DM or your email ignored instead of the guidance that you were hoping for. And that's cool. It's pretty typical that most professionals get similar messages from others. And although they might want to help, realistically, they can't make time for every single person. In order to stand out, ask them if you could get their advice on a specific topic and the best way to get in touch with them. Ask to shoot them an email. Therefore, they won't be pressured and are more than likely to answer your question. Number two, do greet them with a salutation. Do not start off with the question. Taking the time to greet someone with a pleasantry definitely earns you a few brownie points. It shows respect and appreciation for their time. It drives me nuts when I get a DM of someone just asking me a question without even just saying, hi, hello, how are you? Good day. I don't know, maybe that's the Caribbean in me. But great matters indicate that you are thoughtful and personable, and it makes you appear approachable and easy to communicate with. Messaging someone and going straight into your question without a greeting can make you appear inconsiderate, rude, and transactional. Number three, don't ask them out for coffee. Do ask to start an email chain or for a quick call. Time is of the essence. So asking to sit down with someone can be a lot considering the travel time, work interruption, and sit down session, just to have a nicer way of getting their brain picked. Opposed to sending red flags to the person you'd like to link with, ask to start an email chain with them to make better use of your time by getting the questions you want answered. Asking for a quick 15-minute call is also doable for most professionals. Regardless, either methods will increase your chances of getting advice and guidance. Number four, do be specific with your ask and don't forget to do your research. If the person you admire offers free advice, content, podcast episodes, and resources, take advantage of them and soak up what you can before approaching them. Browse the internet and see if they wrote a blog post on something you were seeking advice on, or head over to their Instagram highlights for tips. Before approaching a professional with your ask, double check and see if they've already answered your question before online somewhere. Make sure your questions are super pointed so that way you can give the conversation structure and direction. Also, do only reach out to people if your resources are completely exhausted. Technology has advanced. You can also ask ChatGPT to answer questions for you. I do it all the time. I even use ChatGPT to help me code websites. Number five, do try other alternatives to brain picking. Consider joining professional networks, attend workshops, read books by experts in your field. For the beginning of my career, I went to YouTube University and I always researched what I didn't know. Expand your options and your palette for knowledge outside of your circle and the online business bosses who give free advice for a fee. Number six, don't be transactional, do bring value to the table. Transactional intentions can usually be spotted from a mile away, and it's not always well received. Professionals can detect whether or not you're self invested, and in turn, can deny your request to link up from the get go. All relationships should be transformational, so be authentic and make it your goal to connect with them on a human level. Truly listen without the intent to respond, or even use the time as an opportunity to showcase your work. When you show someone your progression and the work you're willing to put in, you'll earn admiration for your hustle. Let them know which ways you could be of service to them or anyone in their network, and offer a way to help them out. Offer them something in exchange for their time and expertise. And I promise this could be the beginning of a blossoming professional relationship. For the founders and creators who constantly receive coffee date requests to have their brain picked, breathe, stretch, shake, let it go. Remember what it was like when you were just figuring it out in the beginning. While you don't have to help everyone that asks, figure out how to maintain your boundaries while offering insight or resources that don't drain your time or energy, especially if you're positioning yourself as an expert. To those doing the brain picking in the instance that your career crush doesn't respond, do not take it personal. Stay professional and be persistent by following up with them in the future. They may have been busy before, and 3 months from now may just be the perfect time. While sharing knowledge is great, it's essential to respect each other's time and boundaries. And remember, there are many ways to seek and offer help without overstepping. I hope these tips help some of you in approaching your business crush, and for entrepreneurs who want to better manage pick your brain requests. Let me know if you tried any of the tips or if you have any yourself by dropping them in the comments. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Not So CEO Talk Show. If you love what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. To stay in the loop, stack our newsletter, The Paper, and follow us on social media at Not So CEO. In case you need assistance with building your brand or you're a creative wanting to go from freelancer to founder, book an office hour session with me on our website at notsoceo.co. Until next time, remember, being self-made shouldn't compromise self-care. This is Not So CEO, signing off.